Today we're looking at the British English accent of Alex Turner.
I'm Alex from the Arctic Monkeys and we're here at Lollapalooza.
Alex Turner is the lead singer of legendary British band the Arctic Monkeys, who come from Sheffield. Sheffield is a city in Yorkshire, or South Yorkshire to be specific. Other famous people that come from the city include Sean Bean, who played Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, Jarvis Cocker, the lead singer of Pulp, and my personal favourite Monty Python member, Michael Palin. Now, I have found 3 fantastic clips of Alex Turner speaking. The first one is from 2005, the second one 2011, and the last one 2018. And what we're going to do is compare and contrast these videos and see if his accent has changed and evolved over the years. Before we get going though, guys, I'd like to say a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning platform with a fantastic offer that I'm going to tell you about later in this video. But first, let's get rolling.
When you were like 14 and that, and you'd knock about like drinking cider and that in parks, we'd kind of hang about with kooks and like us other 3 from school, so we all kind of like knew each other.
This clip was taken from 2005 and we can really hear Alex Turner's strong Sheffield accent. Now, I think there are 4 interesting things to notice here. First of all, the dropping of the T's. Secondly, the dropping of the H's. Thirdly, the use of kind of filler words. And finally, there's some slang in there as well. Okay, so starting with the T's, that's very typical of a Sheffield accent, is to drop a T, use a glottal T instead. So on 14, he says 14.
When you were like 14 and that.
He also does it on about and that. So it'd be about and that.
When you were like 14 and that.
Now that's a very standard pronunciation feature that we find in a lot of British English accents and a lot of the videos that I've done already. He also drops the H sound. Now again, very typical across Britain to drop your H. So he says hang about, right? Hang about, not hang about.
We'd kind of hang about with kooks and
we'll find both of those features again later in the video. Now, when it comes to the filler words, you'll notice that he uses quite a few. He uses like very frequently, and also he uses and that twice. Now, and that can sometimes have meaning. It can mean everything related to that topic. So for example, he says we were drinking cider and that. So maybe the and that could be other forms of alcohol. But in the first example of and that, when he says when you're like 14 and that, it doesn't really have much meaning. It's just a bit of a filler there. And we tend to think that these filler words are employed mostly by speakers who aren't confident in their words. So what I'm interested to see is if Alex Turner continues to use these filler words as we go through the ages, or has he kind of stamped them out of his English? The 4th point that I wanted to look at was the use of slang. He said knock about drinking cider and that. Knock about means like hang about, like hang around. So if you're knocking about drinking cider, you're hanging around with your friends drinking cider. So if you said I used to knock about with some of the kids from the year above, you're talking about hanging out with, like spending time with. So knock about means hang around or hang about.
When you were like 14 and that, and you'd knock about like drinking cider and that in parks, we'd kind of hang about with kooks and like us other 3 from school, so we all kind of like knew each other. Then you kind of start to develop your sound or whatever, because we're not, you know, we haven't all got a different background.
This clip is fantastic. What I want to look at is the word ant. Ant. He says we ain't all got, right? That ant is a contraction of have not. So in a Sheffield accent and in other parts of Yorkshire, negative words are contracted down. So have not would be ant. Did not would be didn't. Do not would be didn't. So there is a shortening, an extreme shortening of these words into a much shorter sound. So the full sentence would be we haven't all got different backgrounds, but he says we ain't all got different backgrounds. And if you don't know that, then it's quite hard to pick up when you're listening.
Then you kind of start to develop your sound or whatever, because we're not, you know, we haven't all got a different background.
I just want to take a quick moment, guys, to tell you about Skillshare. They are an online learning platform that I love, and they have a fantastic offer for you. The first 1,000 people to use the link below will get a free trial of their premium membership. And what does that give you access to? Hundreds of hours of amazing learning content. It's perfect for anyone that wants to foster and develop their creative side. They have courses on animation, photography, music, anything creative, they cover it. But they also look at other aspects of life. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you are trying to start a business, then they have special courses that can help you with that. Or if you want to improve your lifestyle in any way, they have productivity courses. So things like habit forming and goal setting, which are perfect for the new year. Now, I've mentioned on Each Teacher of English before that I've done a couple of the courses. I did their knife skills course to improve my cooking. That was fantastic. I also learned how to make the perfect grilled cheese sandwich, which has benefited not just me, but everyone around me. Now, why would Skillshare be good for you? Well, loads of different reasons. First of all, you're learning English in an authentic setting, right? So these are videos not just for English learners, but for anyone that speaks English. So you're going to get fantastic words, expressions, phrases, very authentic English. Secondly, you'll be learning English through something that you love, through your passion. If you love cooking, they've got classes for you, and you'll be learning how to cook, but also learning English at the same time. And I love the way that works. And finally, you'll be learning English anytime, anywhere. There's complete flexibility about when you do your courses. And personally, I love online learning. I think it's the future. All you need to do, guys, to get this free trial of their membership is to sign up below. The first 1,000 people that do it get the free trial. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below, sign up, tell me all about it in the comments below. Okay, let's move on to 2011.
Hello, I'm Alex from the Arctic Monkeys, and we're here at Lollapalooza.
Okay, straight away you can see he's a little bit more confident in the way that he speaks. Now he's dropping those H's again, so hello, straight away. Also, he drops the H on here, so we're here. Now because he's dropped that H, that word here starts as a vowel sound, ear, ear. So he's using the R to link those two words, so it's we're here, we're here. So if the H was present in here, he wouldn't be linking those words with the R, but because he's dropping the H, his brain knows that he needs to link those two words, and the easiest way to do that is with an R sound, so we're here. Also, very important and a classic feature of a Yorkshire accent, even a northern accent, is the sound, and he says Arctic monkey, so that sound on monkeys. Now, as you may well already know, in received pronunciation and southern English accents, there's an sound there, so it'd be monkey. But in the north of England, it's monkey.
Hello, I'm Alex from the Arctic Monkeys, and we're here at Lollapalooza. Yeah, we actually played the House of Blues last night, actually, which was rad.
Okay, a little clip here, and did you notice that he's using the H on House of Blues? He says house, not house of blues.
Yeah, we actually played the House of Blues last night.
So I guess there could be a few reasons why he's done that. Possibly it's because it's the name of an establishment, so he's just following the logical rule, like Hollywood. He would say Hollywood, not Hollywood. Maybe it's because he's in America, and so his accent is reflecting his surroundings. I'm not sure, but then he goes on to say last instead of last. Now last, that sound, another key feature of a northern English accent is as opposed to in the south of England when it's so it'd be last. So last and last.
Yeah, we actually played the House of Blues last night, actually, which was rad. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, you know, like.
Okay, so now we really do hear the influence of America on Alex Turner's accent. As I say, this interview is in America, and he's using a flap T sound on pretty. So he said pretty. Pretty is the D sound. It's a sound that we associate with American English.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, you know, like.
As we've looked at previously, we would have expected Alex Turner to use a glottal T, pretty, or pretty. But instead he's using a feature that we associate with American English. Obviously, because he's in America, he's probably speaking to lots of Americans. Maybe the interviewer is American, so he's kind of absorbing that pronunciation feature.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, you know. Like, I mean, totally, you sort of can't deny it. And like most people, the way they consume your music now is like by clicking a button. But I think we're all pretty, you know, we sort of make records and we think about it like an LP.
Aha! So we've gone only 2 minutes later in the same interview and he's dropping the T again. He's using that glottal T. So on totally, on button, and on pretty as well. Again, he's using a glottal T. So I've said this many times before, but our accents do change depending on where we are, okay? So the environment that we're in can affect how we speak. He's in America, that's why.
I mean, totally, you sort of can't deny it. And like most people, the way they consume your music now is like by clicking a button. But I think we're all pretty...
Very interesting feature here, the word think. He says it in 2 different ways. In the first example, he says think with a f sound, which is something we call th fronting, and very common in a Sheffield accent. But just a few seconds later, he says think with a th sound, which is a sound that we associate with received pronunciation. So interesting that he's chopping and changing sounds within the same sentence.
I think we're all pretty, you know, we sort of make records and we think about it like an LP.
But within all of these examples of his accent taking different influences, we have a sound that's very, very Sheffield, and that's mek, on the word make. Okay, so instead of make, as I would say, and many British English speakers would say, he says mek.
You know, we sort of make records and we think about it like an LP.
So that feature is very typical in South Yorkshire. So you'd find it on words like make and take.
I mean, totally, you sort of can't deny it. And like most people, the way they consume your music now is like by clicking a button. But I think we're all pretty, you know, we sort of make records and we think about it like an LP.
Okay, let's move on to 2018.
That we were listening to in a van the other day, whether or not it was a Chevrolet, I'm not sure, but there was a van going somewhere.
The first observation that I have is that you can hear how much more confident he is in his spoken English. He's very laid back, speaks well, doesn't use as many filler words as before, does he? So like and that, they're not so present. Of course, there'll be some, but it's not quite as obvious, is it? Secondly, I found in this interview there were fewer influences of American English on his accent. To me, his accent sounded much more Yorkshire, much more Sheffield than it did in the last interview.
They come and did a couple of shows with us and it just like put a big smile on his faces every night.
There again is that sound on come and couple. Interestingly, he uses a past participle verb instead of a past verb. Come, just there. He said they come and did a couple of shows with us. You would expect in standard grammar for that to be they came and did a couple of shows, past simple, but he's using the past participle form, and that can be a feature of a Sheffield dialect and other dialects around Britain.
They come and did a couple of shows with us and it just like put a big smile on his faces every night.
One feature I really love here is they put a big smile on us faces. Now he uses the word us, not our faces. And that's a classic feature of a Sheffield accent, is to replace our with us, or us, as he says. It's similar to how speakers often replace my with me. And in fact, Alex Turner does do that twice. Let's have a listen.
So, because your parents are music teachers, or were music teachers?
My dad was, yeah. My mother would probably be more likely to play with the Beatles. They come and did a couple of shows with us and it just like put a big smile on his faces every night.
And the last feature I'd like to look at is that elongation of the diphthong O. He says shows. It's a slightly longer sound than maybe I would make. I would say show, but he'd say show.
They come and did a couple of shows with us. I know that's like Lipstick Vogue, isn't it? Because yeah, like which we did a cover of again a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so Vogue and a go. This is a feature that is very distinct to the Yorkshire accent. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video about Alex Turner's accent. If you have any suggestions for who I should look at next, put it into the comments below. But until next time, this is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.